Night shift workers know something the rest of us don't. When the world sleeps, something else wakes up. Over the past few months, I've been diving deep into Reddit's night shift communities, and what I found keeps me up at night. These aren't urban legends. These are documented experiences from real workers who posted their stories online, sometimes in real time as events unfolded. I've investigated each case, tracked down original posts, and in some instances found disturbing connections that were never mentioned in the original threads. Tonight, I'm sharing 3 of the most unsettling night shift encounters I've researched. Stories that made me question what really happens when we're all asleep. This story comes from a Reddit user who worked night shift stock at a 24-hour Walmart in rural Pennsylvania. The original post was made on r/LetsNotMeet in 2019, but was deleted shortly after. Fortunately, the post was archived. The worker, let's call him David, had been stocking shelves for about 6 months when strange things started happening. It began with sounds coming from the backroom storage area. Walmart backrooms are massive, maze-like spaces filled with shelving units that reach nearly to the ceiling. During night shifts, only 2 or 3 employees worked the entire store. David was restocking cereal one night around 2:30 a.m. when he heard what sounded like someone moving boxes in the back. He assumed it was his co-worker Marcus and continued working, but then Marcus walked past him from the opposite direction, heading toward the break room. David froze. If Marcus was here, who was in the back? He grabbed his radio and called the overnight manager, Lisa. She told him to stay put and that she'd check the cameras. 2 minutes later, Lisa came rushing out of the office, her face pale. She told David and Marcus to lock themselves in the break room immediately. What Lisa saw on the security footage was disturbing. A man had been living in the back room for an unknown period of time. The cameras showed him emerging from behind stacked pallets after the store closed each night. He would eat food from damaged packages, use the employee bathroom, and at some point he had created a small nest behind old seasonal inventory. But here's what made this story truly disturbing. When police arrived and searched the back room, they found more than just a makeshift shelter. They found notebooks. Dozens of them. The man had been documenting the employees' routines, their conversations, their habits. He knew their names, their schedules, what time they took breaks, what they liked to eat. One notebook contained detailed sketches of the employees. David's sketch had a red X drawn through it with a date written underneath. That date was 3 days away. The man was arrested, but his identity was never released. David quit the next day and deleted his Reddit post shortly after. When I tried to find police records of the incident, I found nothing. No arrest records, no news coverage, nothing. I did find something else though. A similar story posted on r/Tales from Retail 2 years earlier, also deleted. Same state, different Walmart, different poster, but the detail about the notebooks was identical. This account comes from a nurse who posted on r/nursing. In 2021, the original poster, who we'll call Sarah, worked night shifts at a mid-sized hospital in Oregon. The post has since been removed, but I was able to contact someone who worked at the same hospital and verified parts of the story. Sarah's hospital had a 4th floor that was officially closed for renovations. It had been under renovation for over 5 years. The floor was completely empty, all equipment removed, patient rooms stripped bare. The only things left were empty beds and medical equipment that was too old or broken to be worth moving. Hospital policy stated that no one was allowed on the 4th floor under any circumstances. The elevator wouldn't even stop there without a manager's key card. One night around 3 a.m., Sarah was working the 3rd floor when she noticed something on the security monitor at the nurse's station. Movement on the 4th floor camera feed. She called security immediately. The security guard, an older man named Tom, went up to investigate. He radioed back after 5 minutes saying he'd found nothing and was heading back down. but Tom never came back down. Sarah tried radioing him. No response. She called his cell phone. It rang from somewhere on the 4th floor. She could hear it through the ceiling. Panicked, Sarah called the police. When officers arrived and went up to the 4th floor, they found Tom standing in one of the empty patient rooms, facing the corner, completely unresponsive. He wouldn't move, wouldn't speak, just stood there staring at the wall. Paramedics had to physically carry him out. Tom was hospitalized for 3 days. When he finally spoke, he had no memory of going to the 4th floor. The last thing he remembered was getting into the elevator. But here's where it gets disturbing. After that incident, Sarah started reviewing old security footage from the 4th floor, going back months. What she found made her quit within the week. The 4th floor cameras showed a figure appearing on that floor every few weeks, always between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., always in the same patient room. The figure would stand in the center of the room, completely still, for exactly 37 minutes, then leave. Sarah claimed she went back through an entire year of footage. The figure appeared 23 times. Same room, same duration, and every single time the figure appeared, a patient on the 3rd floor below that room would die before morning. Sarah's post was deleted by hospital administration after a cease and desist letter. I reached out to the hospital for comment and received no response. However, I did find obituary records for the time frame Sarah mentioned. I cross-referenced them with her described pattern. 18 matched. The final story comes from a late-night radio DJ who posted on r/paranormal in 2020. The original account was deleted, but the post was saved by multiple users who found it deeply unsettling. The DJ, we'll call him Alex, worked the midnight to 6 a.m. shift at a small radio station in Montana. The station was automated for most of the night, playing pre-recorded shows. Alex's job was mainly to be there in case something went wrong and to do a live segment at 3 a.m. The radio station was located in an old building outside town. Alex worked completely alone. The building had no security system, just locks on the doors. About a month into the job, Alex started receiving phone calls during his 3 a.m. segment. The station had a call-in line for listener requests, but nobody ever called 3 a.m. until one night someone did. Alex answered the line. A man's voice, very calm and soft, said, "I can see you." Alex laughed it off, thinking it was a prank. He asked the caller what he wanted to hear. The voice replied, "Turn around." Alex was facing the broadcast booth window, which looked out into darkness. He didn't turn around. He hung up. The phone rang again immediately. Same voice. I said, "Turn around." Alex hit the emergency button that notified the station owner and locked the booth door. The phone kept ringing. Every time he answered, the same voice said the same thing, "Turn around." This continued for 20 minutes until the station owner arrived with police. They searched the building and the surrounding area, found nothing. But when they checked the call logs, every call came from inside the building. From the station owner's office phone, the office was locked. No one had been inside. Alex quit immediately, but the story doesn't end there. According to multiple sources who responded to his Reddit post, 4 other DJs had worked that shift before Alex. All of them quit within a month, all for similar reasons. The station is still operating, but the midnight shift is now completely automated. No one works there alone anymore. When I tried to find the station online to investigate further, I found something disturbing. The station's website had a memorial page. A DJ who worked there in 2003 had died at the station during the overnight shift, found dead in the booth at 3:17 a.m. Cause of death, turned his chair to face the wall and never turned back. 3 stories, 3 different locations, 3 workers who encountered something during the night shift that they couldn't explain. What connects these stories isn't just the time of night or the isolation, it's the fact that in each case something was watching, waiting, and in some cases documenting. David Stalker kept notebooks. Sarah's 4th floor figure followed a pattern. Alex's caller knew exactly where he was and what he was doing. These aren't ghost stories, these are something worse, because ghosts don't take notes. Ghosts don't make phone calls from locked rooms. And ghosts don't predict deaths with mathematical precision. These are the stories that don't make the news, the incidents that get covered up, deleted, or simply forgotten. But the people who live through them remember, and now so do you. If you work night shift, stay alert, lock your doors, and if you hear something that doesn't belong, trust your instincts. Because sometimes the most disturbing thing about the night shift isn't what you see, it's what sees you.